Welcome back, Knuckleheads. I'm Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily FaB Gameplay. Today we're playing against Levia. For anyone who's new to the channel, welcome to the jungle. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will talk through turn cycles and give my thoughts on the line I would take now, compared to the line I took then at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like the ongoing Road to Nationals and, most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. If you'd like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, a FaB deck link is available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you have not already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. If you'd like to contribute a little more, then the best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you DFG Discord access. At higher tiers, your name will appear in every DFG video, you'll get bonus DFG content every week, and there are even more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard and about Levia. It's been a minute since we played against Levia on the channel, so let's refresh on what the hero is trying to do. Windups and Smashback Alehorn have made her more consistent, but her plan remains the same. Fill the Banished Zone with powerful Blood Debt cards, transform into Blasmafet, then finish the game with 5-card hands. Endless Maw is a 1-card 9, and Dread Screamer starts a powerful turn, while Boneyard Marauder and Graveling Growl finish it. There are a couple ways that we can prevent Levia from setting up this endgame state. The first is to kill her quickly. The sooner Levia needs to transform into Blasmafet, the less time she has to fill her Banished Zone. The second way is to get her to 13 life or lower before she has the opportunity to transform at all. Levia must get taken to 13 life because of Blood Debt in order to transform, meaning that she must be at higher than 13 life at the start of her turn. Taking Blood Debt from 13 to 12 won't do it. Being mindful of Levia's Blood Debt count is critical to setting up a turn that pushes her below 13, as even a surprise banish might ruin the turn you're trying to craft. Levia brings powerful defense along with her strong offense. We know how great Fleshbag, Bonebreaker, and Scabskin Leathers are, but Levia gets all of that plus Carrion Husk. The truth about Levia is simply that she is extremely powerful. She's packed with an abundance of above-rate attacks and the best defensive suite in the game, all at the cost of occasionally killing herself with Blood Debt. She's also extremely difficult to pilot, as even one wrong block can set her up for failure turns in the future. We need to play carefully and mindfully, but also move quickly enough to disrupt her Blasmafet endgame. The only concession I make to safety and not to speed is cutting pulping in favor of assault and battery. It's a little slow, but we deny Levia too many opportunities to fill her graveyard with cards on defense if we attack with Assault and Battery, and we also put ourselves in a strong offensive position with agility. More importantly, it blocks 3, and sometimes that's enough. In general, I think that I should be cutting Wild Ride and not pulping in the aggro matchups where I want the option to block, as pulping is evasive and can sometimes steal a win, and has go again even if we miss the draw discard. In any case, let's ready up and send this abomination back to the shadows. We win the die roll and we are going first, and the first thing we notice about this game is that Levia is on Hexagore, not on Mandible Claws. That means she's going to be putting more Blood Debt into her Banished Zone in order to attack more frequently with Hexagore. We get lucky with a turn 0 agile windup that is going to put us into a position to be a little more offensive on our turn 1. Let's see how we can utilize that. Drawing into Bear Fangs with 2 blues and a Wild Ride means that we will be starting off with Bear Fangs. We're going to pitch our Wrecker Romp, and we are hoping to discard our Reincarnate, as that is going to put it to the bottom of our deck. We do miss, though, and put another Wind-Up into discard. So Levia does a bit of blocking, and we are just going to keep moving. This is a situation that I'm never sure about. We have these 2 floating resources and a yellow Wild Ride. I'm always inclined to attack here. I do think that is correct, but it's very tempting just to tuck this Wild Ride into Arsenal and save it for a future turn. We don't have agility, so it's entirely possible that we can't convert 4 cards into offense. We also have made a Might token, so the draw discard of Wild Ride has no benefit to us. But honestly, letting 2 resources just burn feels really wrong. Let me know in the comments how you are approaching that situation. We are just going to do some setup here. We're going to fire off a Command and Conquer for 7. We're going to discard our windup, and we're going to arsenal a Bloodrush Bellow. I think that is a lot better than firing off a 4-card Bloodrush with no agility. Assuming that Levia does not disrupt us in any meaningful way, we are really going to be able to get some value out of this turn. Shadow Puppetry coming in with a Hungering Slaughter Beast. Levia only has 1 resource floating. This card in Arsenal could definitely be something that follows the Slaughter Beast. My thought is, well, Levia accidentally showed it to us. We know that this is not a follow-up to Slaughter Beast, and Levia's turn just ends here, but assuming we didn't know that, I would be inclined to take this 8 anyway. I want to... it's a weird hand, because we could block with this Cast Bones, keep these 3 cards, pitch our blue to Bloodrush, and see what we can make happen with the rest of our hand. But I'm thinking instead what I would like to do is just take this 8, fire off our 7 power Command and Conquer with our go again, then play Cast Bones. We do accrue an intellect penalty here by keeping this Bear Fangs in hand, but there really isn't another way for us to use all of these cards. If this was a yellow Bear Fangs or another yellow card, yellow Wild Ride, maybe we could pitch it to Claw, then play Cast Bones, and that would be a great way to convert this hand in its entirety. But as it is, we are either playing a little suboptimally. A 4-card Bloodrush is a lot less powerful than a 5-card Bloodrush, and we are burning one of the best cards in our deck with Cast Bones. So I do really think that taking 8 here, knowing that Levia does not have a follow-up, is the best thing to do. I could definitely be wrong. It could also be that we should block with CNC and Reincarnate, take 2, then use our Mandible Claw by pitching our 2 reds. But that just seems like absolutely a mistake. So we'll take our 8. We will let Levia banish a card on hit. That pushes her up to 4 blood bet, and we are just going to CNC Cast Bones. There really is not a consideration for me to overpitch here. We could pitch the Bear Fangs, then the Reincarnate, just to clear it from our hand. But my thought is that if I hit with Cast Bones and get the agility and don't discard Bear Fangs to Bloodrush Bellow, Bear Fangs is a great way to start off a big turn. We do miss, unfortunately. There is a Reckless Swing in the top 6 cards of our deck. We need to decide if we want to take this Dread Screamer. Levia coming in for 6, potentially for another 8. If this is a swing big in hand, we could be looking at taking a lot of damage here. My thinking is we put off this blood rush for long enough. Regardless of whether I want to block or not, it doesn't have to be on the Dread Screamer. We can take this 6 and then decide later in Levia's turn whether we want to do any kind of blocking. This is just a Hexagore with a wind-up discard, so this Hexagore taking us to 20 really seems fine to me. We play our Blood Rush, we pitch our Reckless Swing, we have 4 cards in hand with 2 floating resources and a cross strap. I think that's totally okay. Could be that we are supposed to block with something like Send Packing because we don't have an agility and the chance that we draw into something with Go Again is a little low. We do get there, but let's say this Wild Ride was something like a Command and Conquer. Yeah, it was probably a mistake not to block with the Send Packing because we would attack with our Claw, we could pitch our Assault and Battery for something like Swing Big, and now we have 2 cards left over in hand instead of just 1. So probably we were supposed to block with the Send Packing there and just mitigate 3 points of damage. So moving forward, yeah, that is something that I'm going to want to do. Now we do get lucky. We do draw a Wild Ride, so we are going to be able to extend this turn. What I'm thinking we do is attack with Claw. We send 10 Go Again. That uses our 2 floating resources, and that's going to let us pitch our blue Assault and Battery to attack with the Wild Ride. We would have a floating resource. We don't do that, and I think it's wrong. Possibly playing around Fleshbag there. If we do attack with Claw first and Fleshbag takes our blue, then our turn is a lot weaker, but at the same time, we would still have our Send Packing to pitch. I think this was a concession to Fleshbag, but also really compounds that we just attacked, we blocked wrong. We should have just blocked with the Send Packing. So it is kind of going to work out for us. We get 5 damage over. Unfortunately, Fleshbag hits the Swing Big. We would have loved for it to hit E-Strike. We're still going to go for 7 with E-Strike. Unfortunately, we don't get to work a Claw into this turn thanks to Wild Ride discarding our blue and Fleshbag banishing our yellow. But we still push some damage. We're still going to get a Swing Big for our arsenal. We still get Levia's Carrion Husk. And here we're looking at a Boneyard Marauder for 6 with Go Again. Levia has a floating resource and a card in hand. We should take this damage for the same reason that we took the Dread Screamer damage. I don't want all of the cards in my hand. I want to block with Assault and Battery because I want the highest chance of discarding this Beast Within to my Wild Ride. But we don't need to block now. We should save this Assault and Battery. We're pretty sure that the follow-up to this Boneyard Marauder is Hexagore, but just in case. The fact that Levia is playing Hexagore means that she's playing cards that we aren't familiar with or that we would normally expect a Levia to play. So for all I know, this is a 1-cost form of disruption that I'm just not aware of. So I think we're still getting our 5 points of mitigation by blocking this turn. We should have just blocked the Hexagore. We should have just waited. But we didn't. We attack with our Wild Ride. We get a lucky discard of our Beast Within. So this is a really solid turn for us. We're going to follow up Wild Ride with a Mandible Claw as well as a Swing Big, and we're going to discard this Agile Windup to make an Agility. So just a really, really solid turn. Levia is going to give us a couple 2 blocks, take 4 points of damage. And we will see what she's going to do on her turn. I'm expecting just Hexagore, so she's going to take 8 points of damage from Blood Debt. This is really, it's an unusual Levia build, but it is the Levia problem, where we have pushed her past the point that she could transform into Blasphemous. And so she just, if she can't banish, then she just takes a ton of damage and dies. And now she's at 2, and we have a really strong follow-up. We have a second Blood Rush Bellow, discarding our Beast Within to draw an extra card. But even without this really strong follow-up to a great series of turns, we can kind of just block. 1, Levia's dead to Reckless Swing if we ever find it. 2, it's entirely possible that she just doesn't draw a way to banish from discard, or that she has now filled her discard with enough misses that something like a Dread Screamer doesn't hit any 6-power attacks. It doesn't get go again, it doesn't turn off Blood Debt, and Levia just dies. So we do have a really strong follow-up. We have our Savage Feast, we have Agility, and Levia is just going to pack it in. But even if she lets this turn play out, and even if she somehow manages to survive not only this turn, but also turn off Blood Debt on her turn, she kind of just spirals. Even if we aren't drawing the Reckless Swing, even if we aren't blocking out, if we're just sending Claw every turn, she has to block, and at some point, she is going to have a non-block, or she won't be able to turn off Blood Debt, and she'll just die. So, an unconventional Levia list with the same Levia problems of sometimes just killing itself. And that is how we beat Levia as Kayo. From a strictly offensive standpoint, Levia is the stronger deck. She has better attacks than we do, she has better armor than we do, she has 2 weapon slots if she wanted to run double Mandible Claw, but sometimes she just dies. And yes, Kayo has his share of non-blocks that lose him the game. That's a deck building thing that we could mitigate with better sideboarding or different deck construction. Levia is the only brute with Blood Debt that sometimes she can't turn off and sometimes it just kills her. And that is what we are trying to steer her towards as Kayo. We want to put her in a position where she just dies. And I hope this video showed you a bit of how to do that. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, be sure to assault and batter that like button. My comments are always open for questions or feedback. Again, if you haven't done so, please consider a YouTube subscription. It's free, it helps me out a lot. But whatever you do, come back tomorrow for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.